Okay. Let's talk about the Bitcoin Investment Club here. It's what everybody's here to see and hear. I think. I don't know. So here's what it is. I want to start with a little bit of a background first in terms of what we're going to be basing everything off of. Because I know that people have heard this story before, so I'm going to keep it fairly short. But at the same time, I think it's important because there are a bunch of new faces in the chat as of late. So basically the 88 Sats radio channel, what does that mean? Why is it called 88 Sats? It's a question I get quite frequently. And it's based off of our project, Golf and Bitcoin project, called the 88 Sats project. And what we did, we used our company King Golf here. We have a bit of a following over on Instagram. So we used our community there. We reached out to people. We proposed this vision of the future to our Instagram friends. And we said, do you want to buy into this? It was basically an investment club to do with golf. So we got 88 people. We started a corporation. One person owns one share in the corporation. And everybody had to send Bitcoin into the corporation, into the multi-sig. So I would say about 80 out of 88 people had never heard of Bitcoin before, or they'd never used Bitcoin before or bought any Bitcoin. So they actually had to go through the process of buying it and sending it to the wallet. I didn't want to just take cash. I thought it was better to give them some exposure to Bitcoin. So I didn't really know how it would go. I throw a lot of shit at the wall and see what sticks. But within 2 months, we launched it on January 3rd, 2023, when the price was about $16,000. 16, not 60. And we sold out in a couple months. We sold 88 shares. We moved it all into our multi-signature setup. So people paid about $200 per share, and the shares are now worth over $1,000 here. So 5x, people are happy. But since then, like, we capped it at 88. I said, there's only going to be 88 people in here. That's it. Because it doesn't really make sense to keep adding to it and bringing new people in, different valuations. Get in now, or you're going to miss the boat. However, there's going to be, like, if somebody wants to sell a share, we're going to put it to the market, right? And you can bid on it based on the Bitcoin that it holds, plus any premium that you see on top of that. But anyways, people keep asking me in the community here, people keep asking me in real life, if we can issue more shares. They're like, we'll call it 89 sats or 90 sats or 99 sats. So anyways, what we're going to do is we're actually going to launch the 2.0 version of this. It's going to be different. But going back to the 88 Sats project, the vision that we shared there was that you send some Bitcoin in. We're going to hold on to it for 10 years. And at the end of that 10 years, hopefully we're going to have enough purchasing power and we're going to buy our own golf course. That was the vision. So obviously we can't buy a golf course yet for $140,000 in Canada, but we 5x. We've made a lot of really quicker than I thought. And this whole thing could happen within 10 years. I have zero doubt in my mind that we're going to have a golf course in 10 years from now. Zero. So anyways, what we're going to do here with this 2.0 is that it's not going to be focused on golf. It's going to be focused on Bitcoin ventures and existing businesses and opportunities and real estate and transportation, private jets, Tesla taxis, all this kind of stuff. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to try to find 100 people, maybe. I don't know the exact number yet. This is all just kind of still up in the air as of now. But we're going to find 100 people. Let's say everybody contributes 1 million sats. And we're going to do the same kind of thing. We're going to just sit on it for a couple of years. And we're going to make some plans. We're going to strategize. We're going to look for opportunities. We're going to talk about things. And we're going to take the exact same template from 88 sats. And we're going to apply it to this new fund. Exact same. Corporation. One share is one vote. Any major decisions is going to be done through vote. And if there's not a majority, then we're going to do nothing. It's going to be held in the multi-signature. There's going to be a couple people who are like part of the board of directors that gets voted on. Everything gets voted on. So we're going to take the exact same carbon copy template from 88 sats, and we're going to apply it to this one for Bitcoiners though. That's why this one's going to be a little bit different, because at the time, Bitcoin was $16,000 and I knew that it was going to go up just based on where we were in the cycles. So I was kind of like pressuring people, like, don't wait, get in. Not only are you going to miss a spot, but you're going to have to pay more for your share in a month from now. But this one's going to be different. And I think the whole mentality around this one is going to be different. I think it's going to be much more than just an investment club. I see it as like a full-on, like lifelong club. There's an investment aspect to it, but it's also like a network. We talked about the inheritance stuff. We talked about buying and selling with other Bitcoiners. We talked about the importance of that. And so this is going to kind of go more into that. Everybody's going to be of similar mindsets. Everybody already has Bitcoin for the most part who would be interested. So it doesn't really matter, how long they wait to get in. It's not like you're going to miss out on price action. You probably got 1 million sats and you can take your time. You can think through it. You can join, whatever. But this one's going to be different because, again, this is Bitcoiners. This isn't something where we're hoping the price doesn't go up before we buy it. So that's the proposal there, and kind of what I mentioned a few different things there, but kind of the idea here is that we're going to get 100 Bitcoiners, contribute some sats, and we're just going to look for opportunities. And every time we see an opportunity, we're going to bring it. There's going to be a proposal. You're going to bring it in front of the group, and you're going to say, okay, maybe it's a local septic company in your area that the guy's 65 years old. He wants to quit. We can hire somebody. We can hire his right-hand man. We can run the operations. They can do the septic. It's earning cash. We're going to convert that into Bitcoin, and we're going to hold Bitcoin on the balance sheet with a very long-term focus here. So this kind of ties into the philosophy here and the theory that I have that is much more important to not only just buy and store Bitcoin, but also set yourself up in terms of like a multi-generational long-term view of this using Bitcoin. So that's kind of the idea of the investment fund. Again, it's going to be capped. We're going to give the first option to Living in the Future community. And there's already, I think, 12 people in the chat who have committed to it. Nobody's sent Bitcoin. We're not there yet. We'll probably be talking about ideas and opportunities and different things for the next couple of years. So don't get into this thinking like you're going to get a big return in a year from now. This is a very long-term play. It's going to be a network. We're going to find businesses that are making money or start our own if we see a hole in the market somewhere, or we buy a house in El Salvador and rent it out and everybody gets one weekend per year, something like that. And then we rent it out the rest of the time. That's the kind of stuff that we're going to be doing. And Bitcoin is going to allow us to do that. And that's kind of the real difference between Bitcoin and fiat, right? Because if you thought about, you're going to find 100 people. What are a million sats right now? $1,000 in the US, pretty much. So if you found 100 people in the US and you said, okay, you got to contribute $1,000. Do you think in 10 years from now that $100,000 held in fiat, like would anybody actually believe that you could do anything with that? People will be like, okay, what are we going to get? A fucking pizza? Right. So that's the difference between building and going forward in Bitcoin and thinking in that and finding opportunities and converting all the fiat, the cash flow into Bitcoin versus this is not possible in the current system that we live in. And I think that things like this are going to become more and more popular, but we're in no rush. That's the thing. There might be 100 other investment clubs doing this exact same thing right now. But what are they going to buy? Every business on earth? No. Like imagine that, just think about 10 years from now. And you have this network, this investment club, and people have been talking, interacting, gaining each other's trust for a decade now. And all of a sudden we have pretty much an unlimited, I would say, amount of capital to allocate. And maybe we contribute more throughout the years. Maybe we do 1% a year more into the fund, something like that. But think about what that's going to be able to do, and think about the people that you're going to meet along the way, and think about it unlocks a whole different possibility than we could ever see in fiat. And if you wait 10 years or 5 years to decide that something like this you want to be part of, it might be too late. Or you might have to wait longer for those to really pay off here. So I think we're kind of in the perfect time right now. And that's why, I think it's cool that it's going to be all Bitcoiners. We're going to have all the same mindset. But, if Bitcoin went up to $200,000 in a month from now, people aren't going to have to pay more to join. They already have the million sats sitting there. So it would be welcome. So I guess what I would say is, if you are interested, if this is something that sounds interesting to you, just reach out to me. It is going to be strictly for Living in the Future members to start, and maybe forever, just because you need some inherent trust there. The whole future that we're moving into here is going to be based on your web of trust, your network. So it just makes more sense to me to run it all through there, kind of as a little filter. But that's the Bitcoin Investment Club that I wanted to talk about. Justin Trudeau, welcome to the